Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Red Pill Road. I thought we'd start the day off with a chuckle. I had received a pretty good meme earlier, and so I thought I'd share that with you guys. And then we're going to jump on over to the Gateway Pundit, where the headline is Biden administration to consider releasing 180 million barrels of oil reserves to combat inflation. Well, look out, ladies and gentlemen. Jumpin' Joe is on the job, and he means business. All right, so Biden cracked down on oil production in the U.S. when he came into office. Crack down? No, he didn't crack down. He shut down. Let's call it what it is. He shut down. He shut down the pipeline. He shut down everything. And in case you forgot, here's this little ditty.
It's simply not true that my administration or policies are holding back domestic energy production.
Number one, no more subsidies for fossil fuel industry, no more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends.
Well, them sounds like fighting words there, Uncle Joe. Anybody ever notice that whenever he speaks, he either sounds like he's picking a fight or he's admonishing a child for doing something wrong? Oh, you bad oil companies. How dare you try to continue finding oil and drilling for it? That's unheard of. We can't have that. Never mind that the entire global economy runs on fossil fuels. There's no need to produce our own, especially when we can purchase it all from Russia or OPEC. That makes perfect sense, right? Only if you're shit-for-brains Biden, he makes Benedict Arnold look like Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Anyway, back to the article. He announced he was going to open the U.S. oil reserves last year, even before the Ukraine-Russia war, in an effort to lower gas prices ahead of the holiday season. The Gateway Pundit previously reported last November that they have sold America's reserves of oil to Asia. Now, Jesus H. Christ, folks, how many more subtle hints does anybody need to know that they're all agents of Asia? Swalwell farting his way across the country.
The evidence is uncontradicted.
They're all agents of Asia. It's infuriating. Anyway, moving on. According to a report from Bloomberg, about 1.6 million barrels of crude from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a monthly record, was shipped out in October. According to data from market intelligence firm KPLER, 3 cargoes were loaded onto a supertanker in the U.S. Gulf Coast and are headed to Asia. Our oil going to Asia, courtesy of our president. Yeah, the one that you voted for. Yeah, the 81 million votes, most popular guy of all time, selling this country out, boinking us in the behind, all the way to China and back. Congratulations, lefties. You let a thief and a crook into the White House. Not that he's the first one, but he's definitely the worst. Given the ongoing pace of the current SPR release, 12 million barrels in the last 2 months, and the biggest weekly release so far last week at 3.1 million barrels. It's fair to assume that more SPR barrels are going to leave U.S. shores in the weeks ahead, said Matt Smith, an oil analyst at Kepler. Another report coming from Fox Business that the oil reserves are expected to go to India and China. President Biden's move to tap the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve is expected to supply Chinese and Indian oil needs, as gas demands have led to global shortages, reports said. Okay, so I'm no expert on the matter, but it does say U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, meant for emergencies for our country. So could somebody please explain to me why it is that we are sending that off to China and India for their everyday needs? Are they returning the favor? Are they sending us back their reserves? I don't think so. So, hey, shit for brains Biden. What the fuck are you doing, and why are we paying you to do it? That's what I want to know. America last, right, Mr. President? Well, let's go, Brandon. All right, back to the article. The White House said the Department of Energy will release 50 million barrels of oil held in U.S. reserves, 18 million of which have already been congressionally approved for sale. China and India have been actively purchasing U.S. sour crude oil produced in the Gulf of Mexico, first reported Bloomberg. Joe Biden then lectures U.S. gas and oil companies after Russia invades Ukraine during his Russia address last February. Then he immediately begged foreign countries to release more oil from their reserves. Could you find a bigger simpleton to be sitting in the Oval Office right now? I mean, really, is there a numbskull out there that could do a better job of fucking things up than Biden has? I don't think so. And don't forget, we have the receipts.
Number one, no more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill. Period. Ends.
On Wednesday, sources revealed that the Biden administration is weighing releasing 1 million, send 12 million over to China, but, release 1 million for us peons over here. Right? All right, so 1 million barrels of oil reserves per day for several months in an attempt to lower fuel prices. Well, here's a thought, Joltin' Joe. How about not cutting the legs out from underneath the American oil industry? What do you think? I know it's a radical idea, and I'm no economist, and I have no special training in the energy sector. In fact, it's highly doubtful that any foreign energy companies are going to offer me a board position at, $80,000 a month. But I do know that as the leader of a nation, if you want an industry to survive, never mind thrive, just survive, you don't do to it any of the things that you have done. All right, back to the article again. SCMP reported, the Biden administration is considering releasing up to 180 million barrels of oil over several months from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, 4 U.S. sources said on Wednesday, as the White House tries to lower fuel prices. The move would mark the third time the United States has tapped its strategic reserves in the past 6 months. Oh, geez, I thought they were going to say in the past 60 years. No, not with Biden in office. He's only been in office for, 14 months, and we've had to go to the reserves 3 times in the last 6 of those 14 months. He is a moron. He is incompetent. And he's a traitor at worst and incompetent at best. He's got to go. Okay, so back to where we left off. The move would mark the third time the United States has tapped its strategic reserves in the past 6 months and would be the largest release in the near 50-year history of the SPR. Okay, so I was close. I said 60. They've been around for 50 years, and this would be the largest release ever. I don't know who's watch again? Oh yeah, Biden, the most popular guy of all time, the guy who received the most votes for president in the history of our country. Yeah, in a span of 14 months. He's hit the reserves 3 times, and one of them is going to be the largest release ever in the 50-year history of the SPR. Yeah, he's a gem, folks. Oh my God, it's so hard to get through this. So far, the releases have not managed to lower prices. What a shock. As world demand has nearly reached pre-pandemic levels while supply has tightened globally. Well, thank Klaus Schwab and Soros for that too. They're the other ones we got to go for. But, one enemy at a time, I suppose. All right. President Joe Biden will deliver remarks on Thursday on his administration's actions, the White House said. Biden would deliver remarks at 1:30 p.m. on his administration's actions to reduce Putin's price hike. Putin's price hike. Oh my God, he is a moron. On energy prices and lower gas prices at the pump for American families. It did not give additional details. oh, Christ. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you go, Joe. You moron. High gasoline prices are a political liability for Biden and his Democratic Party as they seek to retain control of Congress in November elections. Yeah, good luck with that. And the only way they're going to do that, we all know it, let's just say it now, the only way they're going to retain control of Congress in November is if they steal it again. And I don't think it's going to be as easy this time, folks. The Biden administration is considering temporarily removing restrictions on summer sales of higher ethanol gasoline blends as a way to lower fuel costs for U.S. consumers, 3 sources familiar with the matter told Reuters. Well, I'm glad they're familiar with the matter. Maybe they're familiar enough to remember that this has been tried before. Just like communism, it's been tried before many times, and it's failed every time. Adding more ethanol to gasoline blends could potentially reduce prices at U.S. gas pumps because ethanol, which is made from corn, is currently cheaper than straight gasoline. And anyone who's been around for longer than 5 minutes knows that historically that has not been the case. It has not been cheaper to take land that is usually used to grow food and dedicate it to growing corn for fuel. Not only that, but you have to process the corn into alcohol to add it to the fuel. It is not cheaper. And it certainly isn't more efficient. Hey, Biden and Pelosi and all you followers of the science, here's a thought for you. Instead of waking up every morning and taking a big dump in America's bowl of cornflakes and then running around all day long trying to figure out 15 or 20 ways to make the cornflakes taste better with your dump in there, why don't you just not take a dump in America's cornflakes?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb. And I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.